This is the World Touring Car 700, one of the best events to use for money grinding in Gran Turismo 7. This event sees you race against Group 4 vehicles around Le Mans for 30 minutes straight. In this event, you gotta worry about fuel consumption, tire wear, as well as weather changes. So, this event really keeps you on your toes, but it is one of the most exhilarating races to actually do. Now I'm giving myself a bit of a challenge because I don't only want to complete this event, but I want to win it using this, the Renault Kangoo, a vehicle that once it was added, it was deemed useless. But is it really useless? Today we're going to be answering that question and seeing if it's possible to get a race win using this Renault. So with that being said, fully upgraded, it produces 290 brake horsepower and comes in at a weight of 885 kgs. It's front engine, front wheel drive, and it has a performance points rating of 612 performance points. This is with the vehicle being on racing hard tires. This race, I had no idea how to even tackle this event, so I left it on fuel map level 1 to just see max power, how good is it. And we see the opponents are absolutely running away from us the moment the event starts, until we get to the first set of corners, because before we know it, we have made our first overtake and we are slowly going to be catching up to vehicles we are racing against. Because when it comes to corners, that is where the Renault shines. That's where you're going to make your most progress. This is where you're going to make your most amount of overtakes, because once we hit the straightaway, yeah, it's not good. You really begin to see the biggest problem that this Renault has, and that is speed. Because once we hit fourth, we saw we just lost all acceleration. The vehicle was doing about 208 kilometers per hour, and you can just watch at 86 go flying past us. And that's the issue. The Renault simply does not have the speed to keep up with the Group 4 vehicles. But the minute we need to slow down and go around a corner, the Renault catches up with absolute ease. So it was a real back and forth. And at the end of the first lap, we found ourselves finishing it off in 4 minutes and 45 seconds in 16th position. The vehicle is extremely slow compared to the go-to vehicles that you should be using for this event. When it came to going down the straightaway, on the second lap it was even worse, because we were clocking a highest top speed of 190 kilometers per hour before we had the opponents fly past, and we just jumped at the chance to try and get a slipstream, to try and catch up. And if that wasn't bad enough, this is when the penalties really started just raining in. After 1 second penalty, 3 second penalty, 1 second penalty, 5 second penalty, yeah, it really just wasn't helping the case for the Renault. Even after all of the penalties, we still managed to get up into third position. Third position. Yes, all the cars dove into pits, that's why we got overtakes, but hey, third is third. Then we lost third position because we had to serve our 5 second penalty, and we had to round off the event by finishing off in 6th place, which isn't too shabby, I'll be completely honest with you. And with our 6th place, we finished 28 seconds behind first place, and we netted 280,000 credits. So it's not the 800,000 that we wanted, but look, I'll still take it with a smile. So second race, we had a game plan, we knew what we were going into. So when that race started, immediately we threw the vehicle on over to fuel map level 3. Now the first half of the event was extremely similar to the first race, until we had something that we did not have in the first event, and that was rain. Now this was our saving grace, because when it comes to rain and AI in Gran Turismo 7, they like this. They don't match up, they don't like each other, so the AI basically breaks. And this was our saving grace, because with the AI not really knowing how to drive and struggling, I'll be honest, I was struggling too, we could take full advantage of this. So we then found ourselves diving into the pits like the rest of the opponents. We threw on some race intermediates. gave ourselves a full tank, and then we got sent on the hunt. So coming out of pits, we had 32 seconds between us and first place, and as we just kept going, we saw that time drop, and before we knew it, I was in first place. I know, it's hard to believe, even I'm shocked, but we managed to do it. We managed to get first position, and now the whole goal, the challenge was to try and keep us in first place, because as the race just progressed, we found opponents slowly creeping up, because the rain, it passed, the circuit dried out, and it meant opponents were getting a lot faster. And with the Renault still having very little power, we saw the opponents close in drastically. We just watched the gap between us and second place close, and I started getting so stressed. I was looking for a real miracle, or just something to happen that we could solidify the fact that, you know what, we are gonna get this win, because before I knew it, the opponents were less than a second behind us. That's a bit too close for comfort, but thankfully we then saw the opponents needing to dive into the pits, and when they did that, I had such a sigh of relief, because I knew, okay, with them going into the pits, I'm gonna have a big enough gap to then just run away and have a clean, easy win. And that was until R. Haywood did not go into the pits. With them not going into the pits, it meant that there was still a chance of us losing this event. I did not come this far to finish in second position, but thankfully, with the gap between them and myself, we still managed to get the race win done. We managed to come through the final section of the circuit and cross the line in first position. You don't understand how excited I was when I saw that. First place. You don't understand how excited I was for that. We crossed the line in first place with a gap of over 16 seconds between myself and second place, and then we finally saw our grand prize of 825,000 credits. So it looks like the Renault Kangoo is not useless after all. You just need Mother Nature on your side. So I would not recommend the Kangoo for money grinding, but hey, if you are looking for a fun challenge when you have time, best believe, try this one out. I actually had a really good time. So looks like this is still a fun way, plus you are gonna make some money out of it. So can't really complain about it. So with this being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.